Let's talk about Human Resource Management, HRM. First, HRM is a management function that helps organizations achieve their goals. This means that HRM should align with the overall strategy of the organization. Simply put, it should support the company's big picture plans. Second, employees are the organization's human capital. This means they are incredibly valuable because their efforts and creativity help the business succeed. Without their contributions, the company can't reach its goals. Lastly, because employees are so important, it's crucial to plan HRM effectively. This planning ensures that the right people are in the right roles, working efficiently towards the company's objectives. So, HRM isn't just about hiring and firing. It's about strategically managing people to help the organization thrive. Let's discuss how the role of human resources, HR, is evolving. First, HR used to be seen mainly as a support function, handling tasks like payroll and employee records. But now, HR is becoming a strategic partner, playing a crucial role in helping companies achieve their goals. This means HR is involved in big-picture planning and decision-making, not just administrative tasks. Second, we have something called Strategic Human Resource Management, or SHRM. SHRM is an approach where HR practices are directly linked to a company's performance. It's about ensuring that the company's employees are a key factor in maintaining a competitive edge. To do this, Strategic Human Resource Management focuses on three main areas. 1. Attracting the right employees. That means finding and hiring people who fit well with the company and can help it succeed. 2. Using metrics. That means identifying specific measurements to help employees stay on track with the company's goals. This could include performance reviews and productivity metrics. 3. Rewarding employees. That is providing appropriate rewards to keep employees engaged and motivated. This could be through bonuses, promotions, or other incentives. In short, HR is no longer just about paperwork, it's about strategically managing people to help the company win in the marketplace. This strategic approach ensures that employees are aligned with the company's goals and are motivated to contribute their best efforts. Let's talk about the process of effective human resource management and how it helps organizations succeed. HRM involves several key steps to ensure that the organization has the right people in the right roles, and that these employees are developed and retained effectively. First, an effective HRM process starts with determining the needs of human resources within the organization. This means understanding what skills and roles are required to meet the company's goals. Next, it's about obtaining qualified candidates. This step involves recruiting and selecting the best people for the job. Here are the main steps in this process. 1. Organizational strategy and planning. HR aligns its plans with the overall strategy of the organization to ensure that the workforce supports the company's goals. 2. Plan human resource needs. HR assesses the current workforce and predicts future needs based on the company's strategy and market conditions. This might involve looking at the number of employees, the skills they need, and any gaps that might exist. 3. Recruit job applicants. HR then works to attract potential candidates. This could involve posting job ads, attending job fairs, and using social media to find people who might be a good fit. 4. Select job applicants. Once there are enough applicants, HR selects the best ones through interviews, tests, and other assessment tools to ensure they have the right skills and fit the company culture. After hiring, HR focuses on developing employees. This involves training programs, professional development opportunities, and career path planning to help employees grow their skills and advance within the company. Finally, HR works on maintaining a diverse workforce. This means creating an inclusive environment where all employees feel valued and can contribute fully. It also involves retention strategies like competitive salaries, benefits, and a positive work culture to keep employees engaged and loyal. In short, the HRM process is all about planning, recruiting, selecting, developing, and maintaining employees. By following these steps, HR ensures that the organization has a skilled, motivated, and diverse workforce that can achieve the company's goals. The human resource management process involves several key steps to ensure an organization has the right people in place, helping it meet its goals. 1. Determine the need for human resources. The first step is human resource planning, where we assess how many people are needed and what specific skills are required. This involves forecasting future needs based on the organization's goals. 2. Attracting qualified candidates. Next, we focus on recruitment and selection. Recruitment involves advertising job openings and reaching out to find talented candidates. Selection follows, where we carefully assess applicants through interviews, tests, and references to choose the best fit for the role. 3. Development of qualified employees. Once hired, employees need development to succeed in their roles. Orientation introduces them to the company culture and processes. Training builds the skills they need, while performance appraisals regularly evaluate their progress and set goals for improvement. 4. Maintaining qualified employees. Retaining good employees involves offering financial rewards like salaries and bonuses, along with other job benefits like healthcare and retirement plans. Additionally, employee separation covers situations where employees leave either through retirement, resignation, or termination, handled in a way that supports both the employee and organization. These steps together create a strong HR process, ensuring that each stage of an employee's journey is managed effectively. Let's discuss this in detail from the coming slides. Let's discuss human resource planning and why it's essential for organizations. Human resource planning is a process that helps organizations use their goals and strategies to predict and manage their workforce needs. This involves recruiting, developing, and maintaining a qualified workforce to ensure the organization runs smoothly and achieves its objectives. Firstly, if an organization doesn't have proper human resource planning, it can face issues like having too many or too few workers. A surplus of workers means paying extra salaries without enough work, while a shortage means not having enough staff to meet the company's needs. Both situations can hurt the organization's performance and profitability. So, how do organizations plan their human resources? It all starts with considering the mission, strategies, and objectives of the organization. HR planning needs to align with what the company wants to achieve. For example, if a company plans to expand into new markets, it will need to hire more staff with the right skills to support that growth. Fundamentally, human resource planning has two main components: job analysis and forecasting. Let's talk about job analysis. This involves understanding what each job in the organization entails. It includes the tasks, responsibilities, skills, and qualifications needed for each position. Job analysis helps HR create accurate job descriptions and specifications, which are crucial for recruiting the right candidates. Next, forecasting. This step involves predicting the organization's future workforce needs. It includes estimating the number of employees needed, the skills required, and when they will be needed. Forecasting helps in planning for recruitment, training, and development activities. Let's talk about job analysis and why it's a crucial part of human resource planning. Job analysis is a systematic way of studying and documenting everything about a job. It helps us understand what duties are performed, the tools and equipment used, the work environment, and the skills needed to do the job effectively. Job analysis collects four main types of information. 1. Job activities. This includes what activities employees carry out, and how, when, and why they do them. For example, if we analyze a job like a customer service representative, we look at tasks like answering calls, responding to emails, and solving customer problems. We also consider the steps involved in these activities and their purpose. 2. Tools and equipment. This part of the analysis looks at the tools and equipment needed to perform the job. For our customer service representative, this could include computers, phones, and customer relationship management software. Knowing what tools are used helps in ensuring employees have everything they need to do their job well. 3. Job context. This involves the situation or environment in which the job is performed. It includes the workplace setting, the physical conditions, and the scheduling. For instance, does the job require working in an office, remotely, or in shifts? Understanding the context helps in creating a comfortable and efficient work environment. 4. Personnel requirements. This includes the knowledge, skills, and capabilities required for the job. For the customer service representative, important skills might include communication skills, problem-solving abilities, and knowledge of the company's products and services. Identifying these requirements helps in recruiting the right people and providing necessary training. To summarize, job analysis helps organizations gather detailed information about job roles. It covers what activities are performed, the tools and equipment used, the work environment, and the skills needed. This information is essential for recruiting, training, and managing employees effectively. By understanding each job in detail, organizations can ensure they have the right people in the right roles, which supports overall success. Let's go over job analysis, a process that helps us understand what a job requires and what qualities a person needs to succeed in it. It involves two parts, the job description and the job specifications. On the left side, we have the job description, which details the job itself. This includes 1. Job title and location. This tells us what the job is and where it's based. For example, sales manager in a New York office. 2. Job summary. A short overview of what the job is about. For a sales manager, it might say, responsible for managing sales activities and leading a team. 3. Duties. This is a list of tasks the person will do daily. For instance, setting sales goals, meeting clients, and tracking sales performance. 4. Machines, tools, and equipment. Lists any specific tools the person will use, like computers, sales software, or phones. 5. Materials and forms used. This includes any materials or paperwork needed, like contracts or product samples. 6. Supervision. Whether the person will supervise others or report to a supervisor. 7. Working conditions. These describe the environment, such as working indoors or outdoors, or whether they're in a loud or quiet place. 8. Hazards. Lists any risks, like handling heavy items or working at heights, so they're aware of any potential safety concerns. On the right side, we have the job specifications. This covers the qualities a person needs to perform the job well. First, it includes education and experience required from the job holder. That is, the level of education and experience is required. For example, a sales manager might need a business degree and 5 years of experience. Next, training. Any specific training or certifications needed, like customer service training for a sales role. Next, judgment and initiative. Does the job require making decisions independently? A manager would need good judgment to handle team challenges. Next, physical effort and skills. Any physical demands, like standing for long periods or lifting heavy items. Skills could be typing speed or manual dexterity for certain roles. Next, responsibilities and communication skills. Responsibilities show the level of accountability, while communication skills are key for roles where you interact with others regularly, such as in sales or customer service. Next, emotional characteristics. Some jobs need people who are patient or good under pressure, like a teacher or emergency responder. Next, unusual sensory demands. Certain jobs may require sharp vision or hearing, like a pilot or audio technician. This job analysis process ensures we clearly understand both the role itself and the kind of person who will excel in it, helping us make good hiring decisions. Let's talk about how we gather information for a job analysis. There are several ways to do this, and each method helps us understand different aspects of the job. Here are the main methods. 1. Task lists. We can ask employees to make a list of all the tasks they perform in their job and rate the importance of each task. For example, a receptionist might list tasks like answering phones, scheduling appointments, and greeting visitors, and then indicate which tasks are most important. 2. Questionnaires. Employees or supervisors can fill out questionnaire forms. These forms ask detailed questions about the job, such as what tasks are performed, how often they are done, and what skills are needed. 3. Observations. We can observe employees while they are working. This helps us see firsthand what tasks they perform and how they do them. For instance, we might watch a factory worker operate machinery to understand the process and safety measures involved. 4. Interviews. Conducting interviews with employees or their supervisors provides in-depth information about the job. We can ask specific questions about the duties, tools used, and skills required. 5. Filming. Filming the tasks being carried out is another way to gather information. This method captures the entire process and allows us to review and analyze the job later. Using these methods, we can collect comprehensive information about any job. This helps us understand what tasks are involved, how important they are, and what skills are needed to perform them. This information is essential for effective human resource management, including hiring, training, and evaluating employees. Let's talk about what we get from a job analysis. 1. The job description, and 2. The job specification. Job description. This is a written statement that clearly explains what the job is all about. It includes the job's duties, responsibilities, activities, and the performance results expected from the person doing the job. For example, a job description for a teacher might list tasks like preparing lessons, grading papers, and conducting parent-teacher meetings. Job specification. This is another written statement, but it focuses on what qualifications are needed for the job. It details the level of education, work experience, skills, and abilities required. For instance, the job specification for a teacher might state that the candidate needs a degree in education, 3 years of teaching experience, and excellent communication skills. Both the job description and job specification are crucial and must be prepared before recruiting new employees. They help outline the nature of the work and the skills needed, ensuring that we select the right person for the job. These documents are also used during the selection process to evaluate candidates. Let's talk about human resource forecasting. This is a process where we predict how many employees and what types of employees with specific knowledge, skills, and abilities an organization will need in the future. What is HR forecasting? It's a way to predict the number and kinds of employees an organization will need. This isn't an exact science because it depends on many factors, like the organization's strategy and plans, and estimates of future demand for its products or services. Why is it important? Imagine you run a company and you suddenly get a big project. If you don't have enough skilled employees, you won't be able to complete the project on time. That's why it's important to predict and prepare in advance. Example. Let's say MediaNet, a company that provides cable services, wants to know how many cable technicians to hire in Mala City. They might estimate this based on how many miles of cable need to be installed and maintained or how many customers they expect to have in the next few years. Let's dive into human resource forecasting and its steps. This process helps an organization predict its future HR needs and ensure they have the right people with the right skills at the right time. Step 1. Conduct job analysis. This involves understanding and documenting the duties, responsibilities, and required skills for each job in the organization. Step 2. Estimate future demand. Predict how many employees and what types of skills will be needed in the future based on the organization's strategic goals and plans. Step 3. Document current HR supply. Take an inventory of the current employees, including their skills, experiences, and positions. Step 4. Estimate future internal HR supply. Predict how the current workforce will change over time due to factors like promotions, retirements, and resignations. There are 2 main ways to forecast HR needs. Internal forecasting. This focuses on internal factors within the organization that affect HR demand and supply. For example, financial position. If the company has a strong financial position, it might plan to hire more employees. Another one is productivity. Changes in productivity levels can influence the number of employees needed. Mission statement is next. The organization's goals and objectives might lead to hiring more people with specific skills. Technology is another example. Advancements in technology might require new skills or reduce the need for certain jobs. Retrenchment and retirement is another factor. Knowing when employees will leave or retire helps predict future HR needs. Promotion and morale could also be a factor. Promoting employees or addressing low morale can affect the internal supply of qualified candidates for different positions. Let's continue discussing HR forecasting by focusing on external forecasting and the methods used for it. This looks at factors outside the organization that affect HR demand and supply. Key factors include: 1. Supply of labor. How many skilled workers are available in a particular area? 2. Economics. For example, the unemployment rate can impact how easy or hard it is to find workers. 3. Labor unions. These can influence wages and working conditions, affecting HR planning. 4. Demographics. The age and diversity of the workforce can impact hiring needs. 5. Migration. Movement of people into or out of an area affects labor supply. 6. Competition levels. Competing businesses may attract the same talent pool. 7. Growth in the market. Expanding industries or businesses may need more employees. Next, let's move on to methods of forecasting. 1. Best estimates. Using experience and intuition to predict future needs. 2. Management input. Consulting with managers to get their insights on future staffing needs. 3. Statistical ratios or historical ratios. Analyzing past data to predict future HR needs. These methods help managers anticipate the types of skills and the number of employees the organization will need. Considering both internal and external factors, and using these forecasting methods, organizations can effectively plan their workforce to meet future demands. By doing so, they ensure they have the right people with the right skills at the right time, which is crucial for achieving their strategic goals and remaining competitive in the market. This comprehensive approach to HR planning helps in managing growth, addressing challenges, and seizing opportunities effectively. Now, we're going to talk about recruitment, which is an important part of hiring new employees for an organization. What is recruitment? Recruitment is the process of finding and attracting candidates who are interested in and qualified for a specific job. Think of it as creating a pool of potential employees who could fill a position in the company. Why is it a process? It's not just about putting out a job ad. Recruitment involves several steps, like searching for candidates, reaching out to them, and capturing their interest to encourage them to apply. It's a systematic way of finding the right people for the job. Types of recruitment. 1. Internal recruitment. This is when the organization looks for candidates within its own workforce. For example, if a company has an opening for a manager, they might promote someone from their team who is already familiar with the company culture and operations. This can boost employee morale because it shows that the company values and invests in its current employees. 2. External recruitment. This involves looking for candidates outside the organization. For instance, a company may post job openings on websites, attend job fairs, or use recruitment agencies to find new talent. This is useful when the company needs fresh ideas or specific skills that current employees may not have. In summary, recruitment is essential for bringing in the right talent to help an organization succeed. By understanding the difference between internal and external recruitment, companies can choose the best approach to fill their job openings and ensure they have a strong team in place. Let's dive into internal recruitment, which is an important strategy that companies use when filling job positions. What is internal recruitment? Internal recruitment means looking for candidates for a job from within the organization. This could involve promoting current employees or moving them into different roles that fit their skills better. For example, if a company has a great sales associate who has shown leadership skills, they might promote that person to a sales manager position. Why do companies prefer internal recruitment? 1. boosts commitment and morale. When companies promote from within, it shows employees that hard work and loyalty can lead to advancement. This boosts morale because employees feel valued and see a clear path for their own growth. Imagine working hard on a team project, and then being recognized for it with a promotion. It makes you feel appreciated. 2. Cost and time efficient. Internal recruitment is usually quicker and less expensive than looking for new candidates outside the company. Why? Because the company doesn't need to spend money on advertising job openings or recruiting agencies. Plus, the training costs can be lower because the employee is already familiar with the company's policies, procedures, and culture. For instance, if a current employee is promoted, they won't need extensive training to learn how the company operates, which saves both time and money. 3. Higher success rates. Because these employees know the organization well, they are often more likely to perform successfully in their new roles. They already understand the company's values and how things work, which can lead to better performance and quicker adjustment to their new responsibilities. In summary, internal recruitment is a smart strategy that helps companies save costs, boost employee morale, and promote talented individuals who already understand the organization. It creates a more motivated workforce and supports a culture of growth and development within the company. Let's talk about how internal recruitment can vary from one company to another, especially focusing on a specific approach known as the closed-form recruitment system. In this system, a manager typically selects one particular employee to apply for a position. Think of it like a team captain choosing a player for a special role. The captain knows the team members well and picks the one they believe is best suited for that role. This method is often used for promotions within the company. The decision usually happens informally, which means it's not always written down or officially announced. Instead, it's based on discussions and personal opinions. For example, if a manager sees that one of their team members has been consistently doing a great job, they might suggest that this employee should move up to a higher position. Small organizations often prefer this method because it saves a lot of time and costs. They don't have to go through lengthy processes of interviewing multiple candidates or advertising the position widely. It's quicker to just identify and promote someone who's already part of the team and who they trust. In summary, a closed-form recruitment system is a way for companies, especially smaller ones, to quickly promote employees based on informal decisions made by managers. It helps save time and resources while ensuring that the right people are moving up in the organization. Now, let's dive into open internal recruitment and how it works in organizations. In open internal recruitment, companies take a more transparent approach by announcing vacant positions to all employees within the organization. Imagine this like when a school announces a new club or team, inviting all students to join if they're interested. One common method for open internal recruitment is job posting. This is where the details about the available position are shared with everyone in the company. Information such as qualifications needed, salary, working hours, and other important details are circulated through internal communication channels. This could be via emails, company newsletters, or even bulletin boards in the break room. Example: let's say a company has an opening for a project manager. They would post this information everywhere. Maybe on the company's intranet, in newsletters, and even on bulletin boards, so that everyone knows about it. Why use open internal recruitment? Open internal recruitment has several benefits. 1. Discover hidden talents. It allows companies to discover employees who may have skills or talents they weren't aware of. For example, a junior employee might have excellent leadership skills that would be perfect for a managerial role, but no one knew because they hadn't had a chance to showcase them. 2. Encourages career development. This method empowers employees to take charge of their career growth. It encourages them to apply for positions that excite them and align with their skills, leading to greater job satisfaction. 3. Retaining talent. It can also help solve the issue of talented employees who feel bored or unchallenged in their current roles. If they know they have the opportunity to apply for different positions, they're less likely to leave the company in search of new challenges. In summary, open internal recruitment is a great way for organizations to keep things transparent and give all employees a chance to advance their careers. It fosters a culture of growth and opportunity, making it beneficial for both employees and the company. Let's talk about external recruitment and how it helps organizations find new talent. External recruitment is the process where companies look for candidates outside their organization to fill open positions. This means they're searching for people who are not currently working for them but are qualified and interested in the job. There are several methods that companies use for external recruitment. 1. Job advertising. Companies often use ads in newspapers, magazines, or even on radio and TV to let people know about job openings. For example, if a local store needs a new cashier, they might place an ad in the newspaper or on social media. 2. Employee referrals. Sometimes, companies ask their current employees if they know anyone who would be a good fit for the job. This is a great way to find qualified candidates because employees usually recommend people they trust. 3. Walk-ins. This method is simple. Candidates can come in directly to apply for jobs. Imagine someone walking into a restaurant and asking if they have any job openings. 4. Educational institutions. Companies also look at universities, colleges, and vocational schools to find fresh graduates. For instance, they might attend a career fair at a university to meet students who are ready to start their careers. 5. Employment agencies. There are agencies that help connect companies with job seekers. These agencies can be government-run or private businesses that specialize in finding the right candidates. 6. Online platforms. Many companies use job websites where they post openings. Job seekers can browse these sites and apply directly for jobs that interest them. When organizations want to hire new employees from outside their current staff, they have several options. But not every method works the same for every job. So, let's look at some common external recruitment methods and when they are used. 1. Employee referrals. One of the most effective ways to recruit new employees is through employee referrals. This is when current employees recommend someone they know for a job. For example, if Sarah works at a grocery store and knows someone looking for a cashier position, she might refer her friend. This method often brings in reliable candidates because employees usually recommend people they trust. 2. Walk-ins. Another straightforward method is walk-ins. This is when candidates come directly to the organization to apply for a job. Think of a person walking into a restaurant asking if they are hiring. This method is often used for blue-collar positions like clerical work or production operators, which are jobs that typically require manual labor. 3. Newspaper advertising. Newspaper ads are still popular for reaching a wide audience. Many organizations post job openings in local newspapers to attract candidates. This method is common for both clerical jobs and technical positions. Imagine a local factory placing an ad in the paper looking for assembly line workers. 4. Government employment agencies. Organizations often use government employment agencies to find candidates, especially for blue-collar jobs. These agencies help connect job seekers with businesses looking to hire. For instance, if a company needs warehouse workers, they might work with a local agency to find suitable candidates. When it comes to recruiting for professional or technical roles, such as engineers or IT specialists, companies tend to use different methods. 1. Private employment agencies. For higher-level positions, businesses often turn to private employment agencies. These agencies specialize in finding candidates with specific skills or expertise. For example, if a tech company needs a software developer, they might hire a private agency that focuses on tech talent. 2. Learning centers and universities. Recruiting from learning centers and universities is another effective method for filling professional positions. Companies attend job fairs or host recruitment events at colleges to meet students ready to enter the workforce. For example, if a marketing firm is looking for fresh graduates, they might visit a university to connect with students majoring in marketing. Recruiting for higher positions. When it comes to hiring for higher-level management positions, organizations typically rely on 1. Employee referrals. Just like before, employee referrals are crucial when looking for managers. Current employees often know qualified candidates who can take on leadership roles. 2. Advertising in magazines and newspapers. For higher-level positions, companies may also use specialized magazines and newspapers to reach potential candidates who are experienced and looking for management roles. 3. Private employment agencies. Lastly, private employment agencies play a significant role in recruiting candidates for managerial positions. These agencies have networks and resources that can help companies find the right leaders to guide their teams. Each method has its strengths, and organizations should choose the one that best fits the job they are trying to fill. This way, they can find the right talent to help their business grow and succeed. Now we're going to talk about the selection process in hiring, which is a critical step in making sure that an organization chooses the right employees. Let's break it down so we can understand how this process works and why it's so important. What is selection? Selection is all about figuring out which job applicants will be the best fit for a position in an organization. It's like choosing the right player for a sports team. You want someone who not only has the skills but also fits well with the team's dynamics. How does the selection process work? Collecting information. The first step in the selection process is gathering details about the job candidates. This includes their resumes, cover letters, and sometimes even test results. For example, when a company receives applications for a marketing position, they'll look at the candidate's previous work experience and skills related to marketing. Verifying information. Once the information is collected, the next step is to verify it. This means checking to see if the claims made by the candidates are true. For instance, if someone says they worked at a famous company, the organization might call that company to confirm their employment. Predicting suitability. After gathering and verifying the information, the organization uses this data to predict who will be the most suitable for the job. They look for candidates who not only meet the qualifications, but also align with the company culture. Think about it this way: if a company values teamwork, they might choose a candidate who has demonstrated great collaboration skills in past jobs. The selection process happens after human resource planning, which involves understanding the needs of the organization. However, selection often runs alongside the recruitment process. While the recruitment process focuses on attracting candidates, selection is about narrowing down those candidates to find the best fit. Finally, selection is super important for organizations because making the wrong hiring choice can lead to serious issues. For example, if a company hires someone who is not qualified or doesn't fit in with the team, it can create problems like decreased productivity, low morale among other employees, or even higher turnover rates. Let's dive into the selection methods that businesses use to find the best candidates for a job. As you know, choosing the right person for a position is crucial, and companies often rely on proven methods that are known to be reliable. Why selection methods matter? When businesses are looking to hire someone, they want to make sure they are making informed decisions. That's why they use different selection methods to assess candidates. The goal is to find the right fit for the job and the company culture, which can lead to a more effective and happy workplace. Common selection methods. While there are many methods available for selection, businesses usually stick to a few that have been shown to work well. Here are some commonly used methods. 1. Interviews. This is one of the most popular methods. During an interview, a candidate meets with one or more people from the company to discuss their qualifications, skills, and experiences. It allows the employer to gauge not only the candidate's capabilities, but also their personality and fit within the team. 2. Assessment tests. These tests help evaluate a candidate's skills, abilities, or personality traits. For instance, a company hiring for a sales position might use a role-playing exercise to see how a candidate interacts with customers. This provides insight into their potential performance in the job. 3. Work samples. Some employers ask candidates to complete a task that reflects what they would do in the job. For example, if someone is applying for a graphic design position, they might be asked to create a sample design. This method gives employers a real sense of the candidate's skills. 4. Reference checks. After narrowing down candidates, companies often reach out to references provided by the applicants. This involves contacting former employers or colleagues to get feedback about the candidate's work ethic, skills, and character. This step is important because it provides additional perspectives on the candidate. Let's review some common methods used to select candidates for jobs, focusing on their popularity, effectiveness, and any special notes. 1. Application forms, resumes, and reference checks. This is a very popular method. Candidates fill out an application, provide a resume, and list references. The validity is moderate, meaning it gives a fair idea but isn't always highly reliable. The quality depends on how accurate the information is, so it's important to check references to confirm details. 2. Work sample tests. Work sample tests are moderately popular and pretty effective, with a higher validity. Here, candidates perform a task similar to what they do on the job. For instance, a graphic designer might be asked to create a sample design. These tests give a good view of actual skills rather than just what's on paper. However, they can be costly and aren't practical for every job. 3. Unstructured employment interview. This is one of the most popular methods but has lower reliability. An unstructured interview is casual, without set questions, where the interviewer gets a general feel for the candidate. The validity improves if more interviewers are involved or if structured questions are added. 4. Patterned behavior description interview. This interview focuses on past behavior to predict future performance. It's moderately popular and is considered one of the most reliable methods. For example, if hiring for customer service, we might ask how they handled a difficult customer in the past. While effective, it's less popular with some applicants and interviewers because it can feel a bit formal. 5. Ability tests. Ability tests are also moderately popular and give fair reliability. These might be knowledge-based, like a math test for an accountant, or skills-based. Some attitude tests are linked to job behaviors, which helps gauge how candidates might perform. 6. Personality tests. Personality tests have lower popularity and moderate reliability. They're increasingly used, but only specific traits apply to certain jobs. For example, for a salesperson, a trait like extroversion might be a plus, but it may not matter for a tech role. Each method gives a unique view of a candidate, helping us select the right fit by matching skills, experience, and traits to the job. We will see more of these in the coming slides. We're going to talk about two important documents in the job application process: application forms and resumes. While these two might seem similar, they serve different purposes and have distinct characteristics. What are application forms and resumes? First up, let's discuss application forms. These forms are specifically designed by the company that's hiring. They include a set of questions and sections that the employer wants the candidate to fill out. This helps the employer gather all the information they need to evaluate whether someone is suitable for the job. For example, the form might ask about your work experience, education, and specific skills related to the position. Now, let's talk about resumes. A resume is prepared by the job candidate themselves. This document allows candidates to present their qualifications, experiences, and skills in a way that highlights their strengths. Candidates can choose what to include or emphasize based on what they think is most important for the job. For instance, someone applying for a graphic design position might showcase their design projects prominently. However, there's a challenge with both application forms and resumes. Research shows that about 20 to 25% of people might not be completely truthful when filling them out. These little lies can be about job titles, dates of employment, or even skills they claim to have. This is important because it means that employers can't rely solely on these documents to judge a candidate's honesty or capabilities. In summary, both application forms and resumes provide essential information to employers, but they have different formats and purposes. Application forms are standardized by the company, while resumes are personalized by the candidate. However, due to the potential for inaccuracies, employers need to be cautious and look beyond these documents to truly assess a candidate's qualifications. When you apply for a job, many companies will ask you to provide references. These references can be previous employers, teachers, or even coaches. Let's explore why this is important. References are people who can vouch for your skills, work ethic, and character. When you give a reference, you're basically saying, here are people who can tell you more about me and my abilities. Companies ask for these references because they want to gather information about you from sources outside your resume and application form. This helps them verify the accuracy of what you've claimed. For example, if you said you managed a project at your last job, the company might call your former boss to confirm that. But it doesn't stop there. Many organizations also conduct background checks. This means they look into your history to ensure everything checks out. Background checks can include a variety of things, like criminal record checks. It is done to see if you have any legal issues that might be a concern for the employer. Credit checks. Some jobs, especially those in finance, might check your credit history to understand your financial responsibility. Why do companies do this? The reason companies conduct reference and background checks is to ensure they're making the right hiring decision. They want to avoid any surprises after you've been hired. For example, if someone lied about their qualifications or background, it could cause problems for the company later on. In summary, reference and background checking are crucial steps in the hiring process. They help employers confirm the information you provided and ensure you're a good fit for the organization. So, always be honest in your applications, and remember that your references can make a big difference in how you're viewed by potential employers. So, what is a job interview? Simply put, it's a meeting where representatives from a company ask a candidate questions to find out if they're right for a job. During a job interview, the interviewer will ask you various questions related to the position you applied for. They might want to know about your past work experiences, how you handled certain situations, or even what you know about the company. This helps them assess if you have the skills and qualifications for the job. Why are interviews important? Job interviews are crucial. In fact, it's pretty rare to get a job without going through an interview first. This is your chance to showcase not just your skills, but also your personality. Employers use interviews to assess various traits that are important for success at work. They look for qualities like 1. Dependability. Can they trust you to show up and do your job well? 2. Responsibility. Do you take ownership of your work and actions? 3. Initiative. Are you proactive and willing to take on challenges? 4. Persistence. Do you keep trying even when things get tough? But that's not all. Interviewers also want to know about your social skills. This includes 1. Interpersonal skills. How well do you communicate with others? 2. Teamwork ability. Can you work effectively in a group setting? 3. Finally, they will assess your mental ability and relevant knowledge about the job. They might ask you scenario-based questions to see how you think on your feet. It's not always easy for managers to figure out if a candidate has the right social skills, teamwork abilities, or personal traits just by talking to them for a short time. Why is it hard to assess skills? Think about it. During an interview, you're only meeting someone for a brief period. Managers are usually good at noticing social skills, like how well someone communicates or connects with others, but there's so much more to consider. This can make it tough to see the full picture of a candidate's abilities. To help with this challenge, many companies now offer specific training programs for managers. These programs are designed to improve their ability to read people during interviews. For example, managers learn techniques to better observe body language, tone of voice, and even how candidates react to different types of questions. This way, they can gain deeper insights into a person's skills and fit for the job. Another effective approach that has gained popularity is behavioral interviews. Instead of just asking candidates what they would do in a certain situation, managers ask them about specific situations they have faced in the past. For example, they might ask, "Can you tell me about a time when you had to work in a team to solve a problem?" The idea here is that past behavior is a strong predictor of future behavior. If a candidate can provide a good example of handling a challenge, it gives the interviewer a clearer idea of how they might perform in the job. We're going to dive into the 3 main types of interviews that companies use when hiring new employees. Understanding these different types can help you prepare better for your own interviews in the future. 1. Unstructured interviews. In this type of interview, the interviewer can ask any questions they like. This means that there's no set list of questions that all candidates have to answer. Imagine you're sitting down for an interview, and the interviewer might start with something simple, like, "Tell me about yourself," and then just go wherever the conversation takes them. Because of this, each candidate might get asked very different questions. For example, one candidate might be asked about their hobbies, while another might discuss their past work experiences. This can make the interview feel more like a friendly chat, but it also means it's less standardized, which can sometimes lead to unfair comparisons between candidates. Next, we have structured interviews. In contrast to unstructured interviews, structured interviews use a standard set of questions that every candidate has to answer. This means that every person interviewed will face the exact same questions, which helps ensure fairness and consistency. For example, let's say the job requires teamwork skills. The interviewer might ask all candidates, "Can you describe a time when you worked on a team project?" This allows the interviewer to compare answers more easily because everyone is being asked the same thing. It's a great way to see how each candidate thinks and responds to specific job-related situations. So, to sum it up, unstructured interviews allow for a more free-flowing conversation, while structured interviews provide a fairer comparison between candidates because everyone answers the same questions. Now that we've talked about unstructured and structured interviews, let's dive into the third type, semi-structured interviews. This type is like a mix of the first two, combining the best features of both. In a semi-structured interview, the interviewer has a good idea of what questions they want to ask, just like in a structured interview. However, there's more flexibility here. The interviewer isn't locked into a specific order or wording for the questions. This means they can adapt as the conversation unfolds. For example, let's say you're interviewing for a job in marketing. The interviewer might start with a planned question like, "Can you tell me about a successful marketing campaign you worked on?" But after you answer, they might think of a follow-up question based on what you just said. So they might ask, "That's really interesting. What challenges did you face during that campaign?" This flexibility is great because it allows for a more natural conversation. It helps interviewers dive deeper into your experiences and thoughts. Open-ended questions can lead to richer discussions, which can give the interviewer a better sense of who you are as a person and how you think. Now that we've discussed semi-structured interviews, let's explore the 4 types of questions you might encounter in this style of interview. Understanding these can help you prepare and respond effectively. First, we have situation-based questions. These questions ask you to imagine how you would handle a specific scenario. For example, an interviewer might ask, "What would you do if a customer is unhappy with their service?" Your answer should reflect your problem-solving skills and ability to stay calm under pressure. Next, we have background-related questions. These are designed to learn more about your past experiences, qualifications, and education. For instance, you might be asked, "Can you tell us about your previous job and what you learned there?" This helps the interviewer understand your journey and how it fits with the position you're applying for. The third type is behavior-related questions. These questions focus on how you acted in past job situations. An example could be, "Describe a time when you had to work as part of a team to achieve a goal." Here, you should provide a specific example that shows your teamwork skills and how you contribute to group efforts. Lastly, we have job-related questions. These ask you to demonstrate your knowledge about the specific role you're applying for. For example, if you're interviewing for a medical position, you might be asked, "If a patient shows negative reactions after taking a medication, how would you handle that situation?" This type of question assesses your expertise and readiness for the job. Let's talk about a really important part of the hiring process, testing candidates before they start the job. It can be hard to predict if someone will do well in a position just by looking at their resume or having a conversation in an interview. To help with this, many companies use special tests to assess a candidate's potential. There are 4 main types of tests that businesses often use, and I'll explain each one. First up are aptitude tests. These tests measure a person's ability to perform certain tasks or learn new skills. For example, if a company is hiring for a job that requires strong math skills, they might give an aptitude test to see how well you can solve math problems. It helps them understand if you have the natural talent for the job. Next, we have cognitive tests. These tests evaluate a candidate's thinking, reasoning, and problem-solving abilities. Think of them like brain teasers or puzzles that challenge your logic and analytical skills. For instance, a cognitive test might ask you to complete patterns or solve logical problems. This helps employers see how you think and how quickly you can learn new information. The third type is called biographical data. This involves gathering information about your life experiences, education, and work history. Companies might use questionnaires to learn about your background, like where you went to school and what jobs you've had before. This data helps employers understand how your past experiences can benefit the position you're applying for. Finally, we have personality tests. These tests assess your personality traits and how you might fit into the company culture. For example, they might ask you questions about how you handle stress or how you prefer to work in a team. This helps employers determine if your personality aligns with the team and the organization's values. Let's talk about some common types of tests used to evaluate candidates and find the best fit for a job. Each test type focuses on a specific aspect of a person's skills, knowledge, or personality, helping us predict how well they might perform in a role. First, we have the specific ability test, also called an aptitude test. This test measures skills needed for specific jobs. For example, if someone wants to be a mechanic, they might take a test that assesses their mechanical skills. For clerical jobs, the test might measure typing speed or attention to detail. For a sales job, it could focus on persuasion skills or quick thinking. Essentially, this test helps us see if the candidate has the key abilities required for particular types of work. Next is the cognitive ability test, which is a bit broader. This test looks at how well someone can understand and work with words, numbers, logic, and spatial relationships. It measures things like perceptual speed, that is how fast they can notice small details. Next, verbal comprehension, that is understanding written or spoken words. And general reasoning, that is solving problems and making decisions. If someone scores well on this test, it generally means they're good at learning new things, can handle complex information, and are strong at problem solving. What's great about cognitive ability tests is that they can predict job performance across a wide range of roles, unlike specific ability tests, which focus on particular job skills. Then, we have biographical data, often called biodata. This test is a deep dive into the candidate's personal history and past experiences, looking at things like education, work experience, and significant life events. The idea here is that past behavior often gives us clues about future behavior. For example, if someone has always been good at taking initiative in previous jobs, they're likely to do the same in a new role. Biodata helps employers understand not just what the candidate knows or can do, but also how they're likely to act based on their background. 4. Personality test. This one is less about skills or experience and more about understanding who the candidate is as a person. It measures different personality traits that might be important for the job. For instance, for a customer service role, you might look for traits like friendliness, patience, and empathy. For a leadership role, you might want someone who's confident and decisive. The goal here is to see if the candidate's personality aligns well with the demands of the job and the company culture. Each of these tests gives us a unique view of the candidate and helps us make more informed decisions. We might use a specific ability test to measure practical skills, a cognitive test for learning and reasoning abilities, biodata for past behavior, and a personality test for personal fit. Together, they provide a well-rounded picture of who the candidate is and how they might perform. Once employees are selected, companies focus on employee development to help them grow in their roles through training and mentorship. For example, a marketing assistant might receive training on new digital marketing tools. After some time, managers conduct a performance appraisal to review how well employees are doing in their jobs. This feedback helps employees understand their strengths and areas for improvement, ensuring everyone contributes effectively to the organization. The development of employees includes several key components. First, orientation helps new employees understand the company culture and their roles, making them feel welcomed. Next, training provides employees with the skills they need to perform their jobs effectively, such as learning new software or customer service techniques. Finally, performance evaluation assesses how well employees are doing their jobs, offering feedback that can guide their future growth and development. We will see more details of these components in the next section. Let's talk about orientation, which is the first step in helping new employees feel at home in an organization. Orientation is like a welcome party where new hires get to learn about the company's programs, policies, and culture. This process is really important because it helps employees understand how things work and what is expected of them. During orientation, employees might watch informative videos, read handbooks, or even meet their new colleagues. For example, if you join a new company, you might watch a video that explains the company's history and values. Additionally, orientation often includes training programs to make sure new employees have the basic skills they need to start their jobs confidently. So, think of orientation as a combination of learning about the workplace culture and getting the necessary training to help you succeed. It's all about setting up new employees for a smooth and successful start in their roles. Now, let's discuss training, which is all about helping employees improve their skills and knowledge so they can do their jobs better. Think of training like a workshop where employees learn new techniques or information that will help them be more effective in their roles. It's not just for new hires, even employees who have been with the company for a long time can benefit from training to keep their skills up to date. For instance, a company might provide training on the latest software to ensure that all employees are using the most efficient tools available. It's also important to remember that training is needed for everyone, including managers at all levels, to keep the organization running smoothly. Before any training happens, the company must first figure out what training is actually needed. This means identifying the specific skills or knowledge gaps that employees have. By doing this, the organization can create effective training programs that will truly help everyone succeed in their jobs. Let's talk about determining training needs, which is the process of figuring out what skills and knowledge employees need to improve their performance. Imagine if you were playing a sport and noticed that you weren't performing as well as you expected. You would want to identify where the gap is between how well you're playing now and how well you should be playing. This is similar to what happens in a workplace. When there's a difference between actual performance and expected performance, we need to figure out what training is necessary. To identify these training needs, we also have to look at the organization as a whole. This is called organizational analysis. For example, if a company decides to change its strategy, like shifting focus to a new product line, this can change employees' job descriptions. Some tasks might be added, while others might be removed. So, it's essential to analyze these changes because employees need to be trained on the new tasks to align with the updated strategy. Now that we've identified the training needs of employees, the next step for the HR department is to determine the training objectives. This means we need to clearly outline what we want to achieve through the training. For instance, if we've noticed that employees struggle with customer service skills, the objective might be to improve their communication and problem-solving abilities. Setting these objectives is crucial because they help us understand the expected impact of the training on the organization. For example, if employees become better at handling customer inquiries, it could lead to increased customer satisfaction and loyalty, which benefits the business in the long run. Next, we need to decide on the training methods. This refers to how we'll deliver the training to employees. Will it be through workshops, online courses, hands-on practice, or a combination of these? The choice of method can depend on the objectives we've set and the learning styles of the employees. In summary, once we know what training is needed, we first define our objectives and then choose the best ways to deliver that training. This process ensures that the training is effective and truly helps employees develop the skills they need. Let's go over how to set clear training objectives. When planning training, we look at a few main categories to ensure the training is effective for both the organization and the employees. 1. Objective categories. Training content and delivery. The first category is about what we'll cover in the training and who it's for. We ask questions like, what key principles, facts, or concepts do employees need to learn? And who will be part of this training, and when will it start? For example, if we're training new hires on safety, we'll outline safety principles, decide who's attending, and plan when the sessions will take place. 2. Objective categories. Department and organization goals. Next, we consider the bigger impact on the organization and the department. Here, we ask, how will this training affect important goals like reducing turnover or improving productivity? For example, if training helps employees work more efficiently, it could reduce costs or lower absenteeism, directly benefiting the company. 3. Objective categories. Individual growth and performance. Finally, we look at how training supports personal growth and job performance for each employee. Questions we ask here include, how will this training change employees' attitudes or behaviors? And what personal skills or development will it foster? For example, a customer service training might improve communication skills, making employees more confident in handling customer issues. By setting objectives in these categories, which are content, organizational goals, and individual growth, we can make sure our training is practical, impactful, and supportive of both company and personal goals. Let's talk about one important type of training called on-the-job training. This is when new employees learn how to do their jobs by actually performing the tasks while being supervised by someone more experienced, like a supervisor. Imagine a new waiter at a restaurant. They would follow a more experienced waiter around, learning how to serve customers and handle orders while getting guidance along the way. One popular method of on-the-job training is job rotation, also known as cross-training. In job rotation, employees switch between different tasks within a department over a set period of time. For example, in a store, one employee might spend a week at the cash register, then the next week stocking shelves, and then another week helping customers. This helps everyone learn a variety of skills and makes the team more flexible. The big advantage of job rotation is that it allows for flexibility in the workplace. If someone is sick or takes a vacation, another employee can step in and handle their tasks, which helps keep everything running smoothly. However, there are some downsides, too. The pressure of working in a busy environment can make learning difficult, and sometimes trainees might forget what they've learned if they don't practice it often. So, while on-the-job training and job rotation have their benefits, they also require careful planning to ensure employees get the most out of their training experience. Let's dive into another important type of training called apprentice training. This is a special program where a trainee, known as an apprentice, works for a certain period to learn a specific job or skill. Think of it like this: if someone wants to become a skilled electrician, they would start as an apprentice. During this training, apprentices receive both hands-on experience and theoretical instruction. This means they learn by doing the work and also by studying the concepts behind it. For example, our aspiring electrician might spend time working on actual electrical systems while also attending classes to understand how electricity works and safety standards. A key part of apprentice training is having a mentor, an experienced person in the field. This mentor guides the apprentice, sharing their knowledge and skills. Imagine having a seasoned chef teach you how to cook in a restaurant. They would show you the ropes while also providing tips based on their years of experience. Overall, apprentice training is a fantastic way for people to gain the skills they need to succeed in their careers, with the support and guidance of someone who knows the job inside and out. Let's explore another type of training called off-the-job training. This type of training takes place away from the actual work environment. So instead of learning on the job, employees go to a different location, like a classroom or a training center, to develop their skills. In off-the-job training, participants can focus on specific topics or skills without the distractions and interruptions they might face at work. For example, imagine a group of managers attending a workshop on leadership skills. They can fully concentrate on learning new techniques without worrying about their daily work tasks. One of the big advantages of off-the-job training is that it provides a controlled setting. In this environment, instructors can use various teaching methods, such as lectures, videos, or hands-on activities. This helps trainees absorb information more effectively. However, there's a downside to this type of training. Since it happens away from the actual workplace, it doesn't always reflect real work conditions. For instance, a trainee might learn how to handle customer complaints in a classroom setting, but when they face a real upset customer later, the situation might feel quite different. Let's talk about a training method called vestibule training. In this type of training, employees learn how to do their jobs in a special area that mimics the actual work environment. Think of it like a practice room where trainees can use the same tools and equipment they'll be using on the job, but without the pressures of real production schedules. For example, if you were training to be a bank teller, you would practice using the cash register and handling transactions in a simulated bank setting. This training is led by experienced employees who guide the trainees through the job processes, helping them learn everything they need to know in a comfortable and supportive environment. One of the big advantages of vestibule training is that it allows trainers to focus on the theory and techniques behind the job rather than just the output or productivity. This means trainees get to understand not just how to perform tasks, but also why those tasks are important. However, there are some downsides to this method. It can be quite expensive to set up and maintain a vestibule training area. Additionally, once trainees finish their vestibule training, they still need to adapt to the actual workplace environment, where things might be busier or more stressful. Overall, vestibule training is an effective way to prepare employees by providing hands-on experience in a low-pressure setting, especially for jobs like word processing operators, bank tellers, and clerks. Let's talk about performance appraisal, which is an important process in every organization. Performance appraisal is all about evaluating how well employees are doing their jobs and providing them with feedback based on that evaluation. Think of it as a report card for work performance. There are two main purposes for conducting performance evaluations. First, they help employees understand how their performance stacks up against the standards set by the organization. For example, if you have a sales job, your performance might be measured by how many sales you made compared to your sales targets. This feedback is crucial because it tells you where you stand and what areas you might need to improve. The second purpose of performance evaluation is to aid in personnel development and training. When managers assess employees' strengths and weaknesses, they can identify areas where additional training might be needed. For instance, if a manager sees that a team member is struggling with a specific skill, they might recommend training programs to help that employee improve. In summary, performance appraisals are valuable tools that not only inform employees about how they're doing but also help organizations develop their staff for the future. This way, everyone can work together to achieve better results. Performance evaluation mainly looks at how well someone has performed in their job over a certain period and compares that performance to the standards that the company has set. Now, it's important that the methods we use for evaluating performance meet two key criteria: relevance and validity. This means the evaluation methods should actually measure what they are supposed to measure and be closely related to the job. When managers evaluate employees, they often wonder, "What exactly am I looking at?" Well, evaluations typically focus on three main areas: job output, behavior, and attitude. Job output refers to the actual work produced, like how many sales a salesperson made or how many projects an employee completed. Behavior looks at how employees interact with others and carry out their tasks. For example, do they work well in a team or show initiative? Attitude is about how employees feel about their work, which can affect their performance. Do they have a positive outlook and contribute to a good workplace atmosphere? By evaluating these three areas, managers can get a well-rounded view of an employee's performance. This helps ensure that everyone is working towards the same goals. Let's talk about different ways to evaluate employees' performance. There are several methods that organizations use, and each has its strengths and weaknesses. First up, we have supervisors. In many organizations, employees are evaluated by their supervisors. This is a common method because supervisors work closely with their team members and see their day-to-day performance. Through daily meetings and conversations, supervisors can gather a lot of information about how well an employee is doing. For example, if a supervisor notices that an employee consistently meets deadlines and communicates well, they can give them a positive evaluation. Next, we have evaluations by colleagues. This approach is also quite reliable because coworkers are often familiar with each other's work and can provide valuable insights. When colleagues evaluate one another, they can highlight things like teamwork and collaboration. For instance, if someone always helps others on projects, their colleagues might note that in the evaluation. Now let's talk about subordinates. This method allows employees to evaluate their managers or supervisors. Subordinates can offer important feedback about how their superiors behave and lead. They see their managers in action and can provide details that might not be visible to others. However, there is a challenge here. Sometimes, subordinates may feel nervous about being honest because they worry about how their feedback might affect their job or if their boss will retaliate in any way. Lastly, there's the 360-degree evaluation. This is a comprehensive approach that gathers feedback from everyone involved with the employee, including coworkers, customers, managers, and even the employees themselves. By collecting perspectives from all sides, this method gives a well-rounded view of an employee's performance. For example, if a customer has a good experience with a service representative, that feedback can be included in the evaluation process, helping the employee understand how they are perceived outside of their immediate team. In summary, each of these evaluation methods has its benefits and challenges. Using a combination of them can help provide a more complete picture of an employee's performance. Now we're going to discuss how organizations can keep qualified employees by offering the right rewards. When we talk about rewards, we can think of them as things that motivate employees to stay and do their best work. These rewards can be financial, like bonuses or raises, or non-financial, like recognition and additional vacation days. Let's break down the 4 key types of decisions that companies make when granting rewards. First is payment level. This decision is about how much to pay employees compared to the market rate. Companies need to decide whether to pay at, below, or above the average salary for similar jobs in the market. For instance, if a company pays above the market rate, it might attract more skilled workers and help retain those employees since they feel valued. Next, we have variable payment. This is about linking an employee's pay to their job performance and the overall performance of the company. The idea is to motivate employees to work harder by rewarding them for their contributions. For example, if a salesperson exceeds their sales targets, they might receive a commission on top of their regular salary. Other options for variable payment include profit-sharing plans or stock options, where employees can share in the company's success. Now, let's talk about payment structure. This decision involves how salaries are organized within the company. It determines how pay increases and bonuses are distributed. A clear payment structure helps employees understand how they can progress in their careers and what they need to do to earn more. Finally, we have employee benefits. These are additional perks that go beyond regular pay, such as health insurance, retirement plans, and paid time off. Offering good benefits can be a significant factor in whether employees decide to stay with a company. For instance, if a company provides a solid health insurance plan, employees are likely to feel more secure and appreciated. In conclusion, by carefully considering these 4 types of reward decisions, which are payment level, variable payment, payment structure, and employee benefits, organizations can create a motivating environment that helps them retain talented employees. It's all about finding what fits the job and meets the personal objectives of the employees. Slide 49. Let's talk about payment structure and how it works within an organization. Payment structure is all about how salaries are distributed among different employees in a company. It helps determine how much each person gets paid based on their position and responsibilities. For example, if we look at a company, you'll see that individuals at the top, like directors, earn more than those in lower positions, like assistant directors or regular staff members. This makes sense because directors usually have more responsibilities and experience. So, you can think of it like this: just as a captain of a ship would earn more than a crew member because of their leadership role, a director earns a higher salary than their subordinate officers. Understanding this payment structure is important for employees because it gives them a clear idea of how they can progress in their careers and what kind of salary they can expect as they move up in the organization. This way, everyone knows where they stand and what they need to achieve to earn more. Employee separation refers to when an employee leaves an organization, and it can happen in 2 main ways: voluntarily or involuntarily. Involuntary separation occurs when the company decides to let an employee go. This could happen for several reasons, such as downsizing the workforce or if the employee is not meeting performance standards. Think of it like a sports team deciding to trade a player because they aren't fitting into the team's plans anymore. On the other hand, we have voluntary separation, which happens when the employee chooses to leave the job. This can be for reasons like retirement, personal reasons, or even to pursue a new opportunity. For example, a teacher might decide to retire after many years in the classroom, or a young professional might leave a job to take a better position elsewhere. Now, why is this important for a company? Employee separation impacts many areas, including recruitment, selection, and training. When planning for the future, organizations need to predict how many employees they might lose each year due to things like turnover or retirement. This helps them make informed decisions about hiring new staff and ensuring they have enough trained employees to meet their goals. Let's discuss termination, which is often a tough and uncomfortable process for both the employee and the organization. It's important to handle terminations carefully to minimize negative impacts. Here are 3 simple steps to make this process smoother. First, termination should not be the first option. Instead, organizations should give employees a chance to improve their behavior when problems arise. This means that before someone is fired, they should receive a series of warnings about their performance or behavior. For instance, if an employee is consistently late to work, a manager should have a conversation with them and provide warnings before deciding to terminate their employment. This allows the employee the opportunity to correct their actions. Second, when it comes to terminating an employee, it's essential that the reasons for termination are sensible and fair. If an employee is let go without valid reasons, they might feel wronged and could even take legal action against the company for wrongful dismissal. For example, if someone is fired just because of rumors or personal feelings rather than actual performance issues, that could lead to serious legal trouble for the organization. Lastly, we need to consider how other employees will react to a termination. When one employee is let go, it can create anxiety and insecurity among the rest of the team. They may start worrying about their own job security, which can negatively affect their performance and motivation. For example, if a popular team member is suddenly fired, others might feel uncertain about their own positions and might not work as effectively because they are concerned about being next. Now, let's talk about downsizing, which is when an organization intentionally reduces the number of positions or jobs. This can happen for several reasons, like needing to cut costs, facing a decline in market share, or even hiring too many employees too quickly during a period of growth. It's important to understand that downsizing can occur in any organization, no matter how well or poorly the economy is doing. So, the big question is downsizing effective? In theory, it should help improve productivity, boost profits, and make the organization more flexible. For example, if a company has too many employees for the amount of work available, cutting back might allow the remaining employees to focus better and work more efficiently. However, the reality can be more complicated. While some organizations may see benefits, others might struggle with low morale and a loss of valuable skills from their team. Let's discuss retirement and how it works in organizations. Retirement happens when an employee reaches a certain age or time in their career, but sometimes companies offer early retirement options to help reduce their workforce. This means they encourage employees to retire sooner than they might have planned. To make early retirement appealing, companies often create early retirement incentive programs. These programs provide financial benefits, like a lump sum payment or additional pension options, to encourage employees to leave early. For example, if someone is close to retirement but isn't sure when to leave, a nice bonus might persuade them to go a little sooner. However, there are challenges with this approach. One big issue is forecasting who will choose to retire early. If too many employees decide to take the offer, the organization could lose some very talented individuals. So, while early retirement programs can help reduce the number of employees, they need to be carefully managed to avoid losing key team members. Let's talk about employee turnover, which happens when someone decides to leave their job. There are 2 main types of turnover: functional turnover and dysfunctional turnover. Functional turnover is when an employee who isn't doing well, for example, if their performance is poor, they may decide to leave. This can actually be a good thing for the organization because it opens up the opportunity to hire someone who is more skilled and better fit for the role. For example, if a salesperson is consistently underperforming, their departure allows the company to find a more effective salesperson who can help boost sales. On the other hand, we have dysfunctional turnover. This occurs when a top-performing employee decides to leave. This is a problem for the organization because it loses a talented person who contributes a lot to the team. Imagine a fantastic software developer leaving a tech company that could slow down projects and impact the company's success. It's really important for managers to understand why employees leave, especially high performers. If many talented workers are resigning, it's a sign that something might be wrong. Managers should investigate these reasons. Sometimes, it could be related to salary. Maybe the employees feel underpaid compared to their market value. To tackle this, companies might consider increasing salaries or offering better benefits to improve job satisfaction and working conditions. One effective way to manage both functional and dysfunctional turnover is by linking salary to performance. When employees see that their hard work is recognized and rewarded, they are more likely to stay and continue contributing to the organization's success. By focusing on these strategies, companies can create a more stable and productive workforce.